when Yara and Theon show up at Dany's doorstep in the palace, they're pretty much like, well, if you partner with him, he's going to want to be married to you and be the king of the entire kingdom. But if you partner with us and you give us the Iron Islands back, we're cool. Let's just leave it there. And so I feel like that's not a bargaining chip for these other really powerful people. Like Cersei wants to be queen. She's been there her entire life.
Yep. Queen of everything. Yep.
And I don't think we know how... Like, we don't know how many Ironborn are still with Euron, and we don't know how many Ironborn went with Yara and Theon either. That's important, too. We don't know the strength of Euron's army.
That's really true, actually, because all we keep seeing, I feel like a big motif of these trailers, and I think it was even the end of Season 6, is like these Greyjoy ships, amassing to have this huge naval force that are...
But where?
Yeah, exactly, but where and who? And how many of each? That's interesting. It looked to me like the majority of the force was with Euron. And it looked like Theon and Yara were escaping underneath a cavern and just barely made it out. So I am interested to see how many forces they have and how much of a threat they can bring and how large of an alliance they can offer Daenerys.
Yeah, that's kind of why Dany's army is so interesting, because everybody talks about it like, oh, damn, dragons, and oh, damn, Dothraki, but it's like this dude could have twice as many people, I guess. I don't know. We haven't seen the power of it.
Yep. Cool. I think we've covered all of the major...
Sam and Gilly.
Oh, Sam and Gilly. Now, here's a theory I saw on Sam that I want to run by you guys. So he just made it to the Citadel, right, to train to be a maester for the Night's Watch. The theory that I saw was that we're actually watching or hearing this story unfold with Sam as the narrator. Like, he's writing the book that is unfolding right now.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? I really like that, because I think that kind of gives, like, a purpose to Sam's character. Not that he doesn't have one right now, but I think his character has struggled a little bit with, like, finding, like, what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Like, right now, his character arc is... just becoming a maester? Is that...
Yeah, he's going to train to be a maester, for sure.
Which is why he's at the Citadel.
He also picked up, though, let's not forget, one of the handful of Valyrian steel weapons, which is huge. I mean, remember, Valyrian steel is the only thing that can defeat the White Walkers. And let's try to like capture where we know there is Valyrian steel out there.
So obviously one with Sam.
One with Sam.
One with Jon.
One with Jon.
One with Jamie. Brienne.
Yep. Brienne has one? Oh,
no,
that's right.
Jamie gave it to Brienne.
Oh,
Jamie gave it to Brienne.
Okay.
That's right.
Good call, though. You covered them both.
Awesome.
Nailed it.
Kindle for the win.
Kendall in on it. All right.
So the thing that we're not capturing, though, is Dragonglass can kill White Walkers, right? Sam does it himself. And
with a shard of Dragonglass, that's right.
Yeah.
So where's that coming from?
Yeah, and so what's interesting, too, about where Daenerys is headed to her homeland, right, where Stannis was, is maybe there's Dragonstone there, or Dragonglass at Dragonstone, where they end up.
Yeah.
And a big piece of, I think the Sam theory of like, oh, is he writing the story would be so cool, because I love the theory of Bran the Builder, too. Like, he's just everywhere all the time. Time travel, he's, like, part of everything that happens, essentially. But I think for Sam, it would be huge for him to use, like, his need to be a maester to come back and say, yeah, I know how to defeat the White Walkers, because nobody knows really what does it. There's only been like a couple instances, and only certain people know, like, they're at the wall. Like, Jon's
who has killed? Jon has killed one, and
Yep.
Sam, is that it?
And
that
Sam.
we've seen?
To our knowledge, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, like, maybe he goes back, does research, learns everything he can, and then kind of gives it back out to everybody to say, like, you guys are all effed.
Now, another interesting wrinkle to throw into this whole Valyrian steel conversation. Now, the only person that's alive that has worked with Valyrian steel was a apprentice to a weapons maker, and that apprentice was Gendry.
Yeah.
Gendry.
Huge.
He's the only person that knows how to work Valyrian steel, because that guy is dead. I don't remember how he died, but, if you haven't seen a character in a while in Game of Thrones, it's probably because they got killed. But his master died, I think, early.
Sorry. Keep going.
So I think Gendry is going to be a huge piece to outfitting the army that essentially, takes on these people.
Can you remind me who Gendry is?
Gendry
the guy
is
who's rowing
remember,
constantly.
So he was Robert Baratheon's bastard son.
He's with Brienne.
No.
That's Podrick.
That's Podrick. Joe brought that up earlier. Those two characters are actually really tough to differentiate. Gendry was traveling with Arya early on, So it was right after they got out of, it was like season 2 or whatever, when Arya was escaping from King's Landing. She escapes and dresses as a boy and goes out with Gendry and the baker's son, or the guy who wants to become a baker, and he makes her like that like wolf-shaped biscuit or something. So like that whole group was that consisted of Gendry, and then Gendry made it all the way to Stannis, and then Melisandre wanted to kill.
Gendry's the bastard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it? That's all you need?
That's all I needed.
That's what I opened with.
No, but it's so deep though, Kendall. You have to know.
John.
All right, so back to the conversation that we were having about the Valyrian steel swords.
Yeah.
I just realized Ned Stark had one. Where did his go?
Ned
that's right.
Stark had a... Oh. No, his got melted down and turned into 2 swords, didn't it?
But where did those swords go?
One of them went to Jaime.
Okay, so Jaime had one
think
that he
we're-
gave to Brienne, but where'd the other one go?
There was a smaller one.
The son, Joffrey.
Oh, Joffrey was given one. That's right. Joffrey was given one for his birthday.
Then where did that one end up? 'Cause
Didn't it-
he's
is it the-
dead as fuck now.
Is it the dagger that they killed Ned with? And so this is just really random, but yeah, again, this trailer, man, that's like our entire research on season 7
That's all you have to do.
so far. But like, I think they created a dagger out of it, and then they killed Ned with the dagger. And one of the goals or one of the scenes like hints at, could Arya be carrying that dagger in the future because she gets revenge on who killed her father?
Oh, that's right. But
Does that mean Arya's going to kill Littlefinger? Oh,
Right,
man.
because he's holding it, right?
That'd
Yeah,
be
he's holding it
Is
now.
he on her list?
He should be.
He should be, right? But I don't know if he's
I don't
on her
think he
list.
is. I think Cersei's the only one who's still on her list.
Yeah, you're right. And the Hound was, but whether or not
he
the
did
Hound still
die,
is the question.
and then came back to life,
yeah.
kind of.
Who knows? So, okay. So to wrap up this Valyrian steel topic, there's one with...
Cersei's still on her list, sorry.
One with,
That seemed like a big deal.
one with Sam, one with Jon, one with Brienne, and we think one with... Wait, where is that dagger? I honestly don't know where that dagger is.
I think it is with Littlefinger. I think he's right. Like from what I remember is he keeps it really close to the vest, but I don't remember him getting it. But yeah, anyways, we should move on.
Okay, cool. So,
I've got a new topic.
Okay.
Question.
question.
He mentioned it earlier about Lyanna Stark. Have we finished that story?
About what we saw, what we saw that Bran saw about Lyanna
So
Stark?
just the fact that
We know who Mom is.
we know
don't
who the mom is.
Dad
Is that it? Like, do we fully understand what happened between Ned and Lyanna?
I've seen
Or like
so...
why like they were like Lyanna's statue is like in the basement and they're like
Well, because that's the Stark crypt. That's where all the Starks are.
We
buried.
know that the Mad King was in love with Lyanna, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But
kind of
never
one of
got
the
to be
prevailing
with.
theories from the books is that Jon Snow is actually a Targaryen. That's the main theory.
The son of Lyanna and Rhaegar Targaryen.
Yes.
Yep.
Which could have been what we saw in the Tower of... What was it? Tower of Dawn, Tears. I feel as if
Yep.
I've seen so many...
something
descriptors
very
for it. Something
beautiful.
like that.
Yeah. I think, and that's the theory that I've just seen dominate the internet, is that Rhaegar Targaryen is Jon's father, and then Lyanna is his mom, making Jon actually
It makes
double
him Stark
birthright
and
to
a Targaryen.
the throne. Yeah. So
who's the Targaryen?
Targaryens are Daenerys'
No.
family.
Who's the guy that you just said?
Rhaegar Targaryen is Dany's uncle.
Who was king and was deposed by Robert Baratheon during the War of the Trident. Right?
No, because
that's not right.
I think Jon Aerys. No, Aerys Targaryen was the Mad King, which is
He was the one who was killed by Jaime.
right.
Guys,
This gets so
Game of Thrones is
confusing.
confusing.
This Game of Thrones, man. Oh god. Okay,
Yeah.
so either way, I think from my understanding, Rhaegar Targaryen is the brother of the Mad King that Jaime kills, and Rhaegar Targaryen is uncle to Daenerys. Daenerys being the daughter of the Mad King.
Following.
That's
Okay.
all that matters.
Dragons.
Dragon.
Dragon
Dragons.
family.
Got it.
So
Dragons.
if that's true, that means Jon has the ability to control the dragons, and there's a potential we could see fucking Jon Snow
On
a dragon, which would just... So who would the dragon riders be? So there's 3 dragons. You got
Tyrion.
Daenerys,
Tyrion.
Tyrion, and Jon Snow.
Boom.
That would be
Boom.
so fucking cool. Oh my god, that would be amazing. Okay, So let's get into it with that. Let's get into some of our theories, some of our calls, what is the word I'm looking for?
Here, I got a question for you.
Predictions.
Yeah. So let's take it all the way to the end. Like, without even knowing what starts season 7, how does season 7 end? Because there's 6 more episodes that are feature length, mind you.
Jesus.
It's got to end with a big death, right? It's got to end with a big death and set up a final battle. Do we think that this is the season we see the kingdoms... Like, I almost want to say, this is the season we see everybody fight each other. So all of the kingdoms are coming together into King's Landing, and we're seeing the battle between Dany's army and Cersei, and then the Starks get there, and they join the fight, and, everyone's fighting each other. But I think the end of this season is when the prophecy comes true. I think the end of this season is when everyone realizes... Okay, hold on. We'll get back to this shit in a second, but we got to get together and fight this threat, or otherwise we're all fucked.
Yeah, I've been feeling for a long time like everybody is going to get subtracted, but then you have Euron and other people that we haven't even heard like the stories of, and I'm really excited to hear like Bran's story, for example. But I think this season ends with a final battle setup or a final understanding of like fire and ice, right? It looks like Dany as a leader with dragons versus the White Walkers, because those are the 2 biggest forces. They have been for a long time. That makes sense, but I want to be surprised. I want it to be something completely off the wall. Like, I think the White Walkers defeat some of the North. They realize they're not enough. They come through the wall. They retreat south and maybe gangle up whoever took the South, or the King's Landing in this instance, and then they band together to go back north.
Oh shit!
I feel like that's how it has to end.
That's pretty solid.
Because otherwise it's like, okay, well, we still have like 8 different people not really knowing what happens, but of course through alliances and stuff it could change.
I think my prediction, like I'm willing to say, I think we see the Lannisters proper get wiped out this season. I think we see Jaime and Cersei die this season. Tyrion survives, I think, to be a part of that final battle in some form, some fashion.
He's more Dany at this point than Lannister.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And there's a theory he might actually be a Targaryen.
Right.
We won't get into that right now, but there is a theory out there that's a possibility. So I think the Lannisters are taken care of. So by the end of season 7, here, let's put it this way. Who do we think is going to be sitting on the Iron Throne at the end? End of season 7. Who sits on the Iron Throne?
I think the Iron Throne's going to be contested at the end of season 7. I mean, if you're looking at, and George R.R. Martin has said this, the historical conflict that he's basing this all off of is the War of the Roses from England. And at the end of the day, what the War of the Roses accomplished was a complete reshaping of England as we know it. So I think at the end of season 7, we're not going to know who sits on the Iron Throne. The Lannisters will be... I don't think they're going to be gone. I don't think anybody's going to hold King's Landing. I think it's going to be contested. Contested by who? I don't know.
I think it's going to be an empty throne. Like, whoever is currently sitting on it, whether that's Cersei holds it the whole season or she gets dethroned and somebody else takes it, and then by the end of season 7, there's another power grab. Do you think there's only going to be one power grab throughout the entire season? How many switches do we think we're going to see?
Well, we've had a lot already. But I think we're going to see an empty Iron Throne at the end of season 7. We're going to see the 7 Kingdoms without a definite leader.
Okay.
I'm going to say Varys for the hell of it, because why not, right?
All right.
He
our
just
boy
feels like,
Varys taking it over.
He just feels like a guy who has a lot of connections.
The
and
king
really,
of whispers.
Yeah, and if you look at it, he was the one who created the Tyrell, Sand Snake, Daenerys coalition, if you will. And maybe he's got some ruthless back end where he's just like, yeah, I'm ready to just like do this now and figure it out. But it's interesting you say that, because at the North, I feel like everybody's rallied together to understand the true battles with the White Walkers, right? Like the Wildlings came into the Wall, they joined the Night's Watch, who have historically been enemies for a long, long time. And they're like, guys, get it together, because this shit is real and it is coming. So I think maybe I feel like King's Landing is almost kind of like a side plot, but I want to see it all play out, of course. But the real threat always has been north of the Wall.
Our boy Davos is the one that always preaches it, right? Our boy Davos is the one that's always saying, like, guys, it doesn't really matter. I think in that trailer he said, again, it's the research that we've done. In that trailer, I think he says, it doesn't matter whose skeleton is sitting on the Iron Throne. Like, we've got to get ready for this battle. So with that said, there is also one other thing that I wanted to talk about on the show was the prophecy of what's his name? I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to butcher it.